One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back. Sunset Lake is a sponsor of No Simple Road, and I have to tell you guys something. So, in life, there's products that like change your outlook on the world, that come into your life, and you know that thing is now going to be a staple in your day-to-day. And when Sunset Lake came on board with No Simple Road, that is exactly what happened with this stuff. I am one of those people that gets way too paranoid and anxious when I smoke this super powered mega weed that's out there these days. And I was really bummed because I couldn't smoke weed anymore, man. And
We're having a hard time.
Yeah. And
It did suck. I really enjoyed smoking weed with you so much.
yeah.
Well, and guess what?
Yeah.
What?
Now I can
It's
smoke
back.
again. This stuff came into our world, and magically it does not do any of that stuff to my head, but I get all the benefits of getting high. So the whole body thing, I feel the munchies a little bit, I get giddy and a little silly, but all that anxiety and weirdness that happens with regular cannabis is not there. This stuff is freaking amazing. It is all hand trimmed, and it's pesticide free, slow cured, stored in tamper sealed glass jars, and they only sell the flower directly from their farm. Their pre-rolls are made with the same flour, and they're great if you're looking for something like to take with you on a road trip like I just did. And they even have keef, man. So like I can roll a joint and put some of this amazing keef in there too. The
Keef is
topicals
great.
kick ass. It's got arnica in there, and one of my most favorite things is the coffee. This like Peruvian dark roast, really rich,
I'm sad that
bold
it's gone.
coffee is amazing.
And they're gummy bears.
Yeah.
And they're
Oh,
they're
those
little tasty
gummies.
gummy bears.
So this is Sunset Lake CBD. They are a farm out of Alberg, Vermont, and this was a farm that was originally producing milk for ice cream for Ben & Jerry's.
So
And
rad.
they decided they wanted to diversify, so they started growing hemp. And like I said, it's 100% pesticide free, and they do collaborations with the University of Vermont and learning about like better practices for farming, like cover cropping and stuff like that. And they are donating 4.2% of their online sales to the Drug Policy Alliance in hopes of furthering police and prison reform as it relates to drugs. And they're giving $15 an hour to their employees. So not only does the product work for you, but it is working for the people that work for the company. So
That's awesome.
awesome product. And you're going to get 10%,
Proud of
or
that.
I'm sorry, 15% off. When you check out, put in the promo code NSR15 at sunsetlakecbd.com.
NSR 15.
And you will get hooked up. You know what? sunsetlakecbd.com. Check it out.
And I gotta say one last thing. Thank you, Sunset Lake CBD, for we all love your product,
Yeah, we
but
do.
you really changed Aaron's viewpoint on this, and he's able to hang out and enjoy himself with us on the patio, having his own smoke.
It's good to have him back.
Yay!
Passing a joint to me of his favorite CBD strain. So thank you, man. Keep up the good work.
Yep, go check out the Hawaiian Haze, the Cherry Abacus, all the stuff they got there. It's the bomb. Go check it out. Sunset Lake CBD, promo code NSR15, 15% off, and take care of your body.
Hey now, guess what, guys?
What?
We have a sponsor that is Define Premium Cannabis.
Define.
This is the place where I work at. So right now, things are kind of serious, and we're happy to be essential and be part of the medicine that is helping people keep it all together.
Yeah.
So come out and see us. We got a location in Hillsboro where I work at, and we also have a location in Forest Grove. When you come in, we will educate you. We will get you set straight for everything you need. Your dabbables, edibles, smokables. We got it all. So come on in and visit us, and make sure that you mention you listen to No Simple Road. You will get 10% off your entire purchase. And guess what else?
What?
A free t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So come on in, man. If you're feeling blue, down, ache, pain, whatever, we got you covered. Come visit us, and we will take care of you, and you can take care of your head.
Oh, and one last thing before we go. That 10% off is every time you go in. It's not just
Yes.
the first time. It's every time. So when you go in, say, hey,
Thank
I'm
you.
part of the No Simple Road family. 10% off, and you're hooked up. Take care of your head, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Mel.
Hey.
We have a new No Simple Road alumni podcaster.
What?
Yeah, Tara Lee Weathers, that was on the show, is now doing Groove Therapy with, you have her name.
Groove Therapy is a podcast through the collaboration of Dr. Leah Taylor and Tara Lee Weathers, and they are part of Osiris Media. They are part of our
Yes, they
Osiris family. We would like to welcome them.
Welcome.
Welcome to the family. And check out all the other podcasts on Osiris Media, like the Broke Down Podcast.
That's right.
Under the Scales. You know, all the cool podcasts hang
Let's
out
check it
on
out.
Osiris Media.
It's like a lounge for coolness.
It's super chilly. Step into the freezer.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple rub.
You don't got this.
Yeah, everybody
You
got
don't-
this.
you don't-
Everybody gets something.
Everybody-
Something clause.
You are something close. Hey now, No Simple Rub family, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Whoa, check that out. Do that again. One more.
Welcome back.
You guys sound really good. You should start a band.
Hey.
We're already in
We
it.
could call it Apple and Mel sing Welcome Back. So, yeah, this week's guest.
Rotten apple and marshmallow.
Whoa.
Oh,
there we go.
wait, that's our
That's right.
rap. That's
That's
our
our
rap,
rap
James.
duo.
Hear about that later.
I was going to say, when I was so rudely interrupted.
I'm sorry.
No, this week's guest is Alex
Alex
Jordan.
Jordan.
Just came out with his new album, The Subtle
Subtle
Exhibitionist.
Exhibitionist.
It's a tongue twister.
I love
I
that.
stall because I didn't want to flubber it. Is that a word, flubber, or is that a movie?
That's a movie and a word.
Flub
Yeah.
it. But yeah, what were you going to say, Mel?
It was a great. I don't know.
I have a great memory.
It's a
of
great
listening-
title.
Oh,
listening-
This is
yeah,
why we
thank
got
you. Thanks.
sidetracked by the
I'm like,
flubber.
wait.
Yeah,
No,
the
I
subtle
love that,
exhibitionist
yeah.
is
I love the connotation of the subtle exhibitionist.
Yeah, like he's the guy that's subtly giving you the flash.
just a little like yeah, just like
Hey, what's up? But it's this interview, this conversation, and his life is a testimony to the Grateful Dead family. Because, I mean, he started as a roadie for Cubensis and then playing with Midnight North and now doing his own thing. And this guy plays everything but the drums. Is that what he said?
yeah, I think that was
If I
it.
remember
Yeah, 'cause he
correctly?
started out on harmonica, ukulele, piano, and then discovered guitar, and then went with Midnight
Don't give it
North
away.
and added the Hammond.
Well,
And
no, I'm just saying on the album, he plays almost everything on this album
his
but the
album,
drums.
yeah.
Like, it's pretty amazing. And I have a great memory of Dennis McNally sent us the CD to listen to, and it was pouring rain here in Portland. And Mel and I took a ride to the farmer's market, and we bought jam and coffee and pastries.
And that coffee and pastry combo was
Yeah,
so
and see,
amazing.
that day. The only reason I remember that, this is like months ago, is because of this album that I remember that we listened to the
Really?
album. Yeah, and the rain was pouring down, and we were eating pastries and coffee, parked on the side of the road, just digging it. And I know that you guys will dig it too. So make sure you go check it out. It's a Subtle Exhibitionist. It's out everywhere that music is streaming right now. And you, as you'll hear in the conversation, Alex is super chill, cool guy that, you know, this is another one. When we hung up the phone, I was like, oh man, we made another friend.
yeah, I felt like hanging out with a buddy you hadn't seen in a while.
But before we do all that, how is everybody doing today?
I'll start off since you both looked
How
at
about
me. I
We all
feel
look-
pressure now. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah,
No, I'm
speak the truth, Apple.
I'm doing good. We're always about honesty on that. I've been struggling a little bit lately. Just right now, it's for me. It's really easy to just push myself so hard. Main concentration being work, and that's starting to get to me a little. It's it's something I can focus on. I get to go out every day and working, but I've been pushing it pretty damn hard, bringing the medicine to the people.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of learning. I've been talking to Aaron and Melanie. I had to take a breather yesterday. They'll tell you about their fun in a minute, but I missed out on that. But I had to stay home, take a breather. Same kind of today. Just kind of trying to relax and get back on track of focusing on myself. Also, I need to do a few things. I need to go see the doctor, get an eye exam. Shit I've been putting off because it's easy to do in the middle of this. I know everybody's like, you need to go do something, but like setting up appointments and everything in the middle of all this weirdness, you keep putting it on like, okay, it's going to be normal in a couple weeks. I'll wait till things lighten up. I'm learning. I just got to do my shit. So
Yeah, man. I mean,
that's the lowdown with me. Other than that, I'm doing good. I love my family. I love the show. I love the listeners. All this keeps me going. And then these two had a fun little thing. How was your guys' day and week going? And that was it. I bet everybody.
It's far out, man.
It's just so hard because we've,
I've lived 10,000 lifetimes in 3 days.
I really feel that way.
Mhm.
I feel all like super elated because we just came back from a gorgeous, amazing
Thank you to
time.
the Able family for
Thank you so
inviting us
much.
out, man. To
I
camp.
mean, I love them so much. Their family, So they invited us to their secret little private camping spot on the river, and Aaron and I had the best nap I've ever had in my life, ever.
You want to see live pictures of said nap? I will post them on Instagram. We are
You can't even see my face because I'm tucked in the hammock so much and snuggled in so good that I just was one with the hammock. It was an amazing time, and it was much needed from like the other stuff that's going on.
there's stuff.
There's stuff going on.
The
and
world
it's
is
funky.
nuts.
Yeah, and so it was a wonderful reprise to settle into the nature and to water. When you're near water, flowing water, and it's just very cleansing and reassuring somehow. It's like comforting to listen to as you sleep. And yeah, it was really an amazing cap to a really trying and hard week.
Yeah. So the Able family invited all of us out to go camp, and they had reserved an entire campground on the river, and floating in the river and hanging out with everybody. So Mel and I, this is about an hour and 10 minutes from our house. So Friday night we jump in the car, we load up all of our tent and sleeping bags and pack some food and hit the road, head out there Friday evening after work. And we get there, and this campground is like the most lush, green, rainforest campground you have ever seen in your life, and pristine. Like no trash, no bullshit, just like totally beautiful. And Jason and Audrey meet us, and we walk down to the river, and I'm just like floored that. So what Mel was saying about water and flowing water, being near it, so it's different than being near a lake. There's a feeling of being near the ocean and a lake and a river. It's all different. And for me, that feeling of sitting or standing near a river, the energy is moving. That water energy and earth energy are moving, and there's no stagnation, and it's very difficult. So for me, I'm a person that's always, I realized this weekend I'm constantly thinking of the next thing while I'm doing the thing. Like even in life, if I'm cooking, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing after. If I'm watching TV, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing when the show ends. And sitting near the river, for me, stops that. There's nothing to do but sit. And
You don't want to think about what's next.
there's no next. It's the energy is constantly already moving, so I'm not doing that. And anyway, so we walk down to the river and hang out and come back up to the campground, and there were some of other friends and family of Jason and Audrey's there, and I hear live Grateful Dead just blaring out of the camper, and I was like, holy shit, this is like being at a festival without the bands
And the people.
but if the people that you camped around at a festival all just went to one place together, like that is exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And there was a huge center area where there was a fire pit, and they set up a movie screen and a projector, and we hung out and boogied all night and watched old Grateful Dead and Humphreys McGee and partied and had a great time and cut loose and hung out with the family, man. And it was exactly what I needed. I felt myself relax. And I realized, like Apple said, there's been so much pressure lately in the world, so much pressure on all of us. And it becomes subconscious after a while, because you can't maintain keeping that kind of pressure in the forefront of your mind. So it's like being in burning hot water. After a while, you're kind of getting used to it.
Pressure release valve.
Yeah, and going out there and floating in that river and doing what we did was a reset in a million different ways. It made me realize how much stress I put on myself, and feeling it disappear was like medicine that I just really needed. So
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
really grateful to those guys. And this nap that Mel is talking about in the hammock will
It's a
go
game
down
changer.
in history. If there's a ratings book for naps, this is in the top 3 ever in the history of humanity, because there was like no squinching around trying to get comfortable. There was no like, am I going to fall? It was just, I'm out. And then, and Audrey came and stole Mel's phone while we were crashed and took pictures of us sleeping. So I'm going to post those on
What
Instagram
a
for you
sweet
guys.
sister she is. She thinks of the moments that you would want to catch and does that for someone else. Like that is
She's always around
Yeah.
doing
Super
that at
thoughtful.
festivals,
that
everything.
is one sweet mama.
So this whole thing, that like going out there and going camping with them, really made me even more appreciate the community that we are a part of,
Yeah.
because everybody that was there was brought together in
Through
some
music.
way, shape, or form through the jam community. And these are people that have been friends for 20 years,
Yeah, 18
17
years.
years, 18 years, and met at shows.
Mm-hmm.
And that just goes to show you what we're all a part of, man. That this thing is vibrant and alive and infuses the lives of the people that are in it and touches them in such a way that lifetime friendships grow out of it. And people's kids, friends with other people's kids, and camping trips and weddings and bar mitzvahs and, you know, all of it, man. It really truly is a family, and it's really cool to be a part of it, man. It just
It was good to see
reset
you.
that in my mind.
It was good to see you too. Like, you know, everybody holds tension in their face, whether they realize it or not. You know, whether it's through like kind of just barely clenching your jaw or like furrowing your brows or, you know, just kind of like giving that puzzled look. Like we might not even mean to do it, but we do it. And when you see somebody's face change, and I saw your face like visibly change, like you were calm. I wouldn't even say relaxed. It was calm. That's different. I've rarely seen you that way. And I was like so grateful, and I was so tired, and like just getting to do what you want to do and need to do for your body in that environment was a recharge.
Yeah.
What a place to let it go. I'm glad. I'm really sorry I didn't go. Jason and Audrey, I can't wait till next time. But somebody said to me at work, or maybe it was me and you at call. Lately, I've caught myself. I think it was at work. Somebody said you've had. It was probably Artie. You've had resting bitch face lately. Like what you were just saying made me realize. Like you don't realize you're scowling or furrowing your brow. I hardly ever do that. I've been doing that a lot more. Like just sitting like with that puzzled look on my face. And
Yeah,
it's like
tension.
it's exhaustion and thinking so much and craziness. So
If there's any advice that I can give to all of you guys out there, like, check it out.
Darwin's running.
Seriously, like, there's a lot happening, man. There's a lot happening. Emotionally, there's a lot happening. Our lives have been altered indelibly. This time period is going to go down in history as one of the most nutty, craziest things that's ever happened. And we're all feeling it, whether we realize it or not. And so it is of the utmost importance for all of us to take care of ourselves. That's like the theme of this week's show, that this intro, you know, Apple started it off by saying he's got to pay more attention to himself and do some self-care. And that doesn't always mean like going to the doctor, man. That also means taking a minute to breathe and get away from shit so that you're not in the pressure cooker 100% of the time. And we all make fucking excuses, dude. I do it. You do it. We all do it. We make excuses. Well, it's too hard to make plans, and I don't have the money, and I got to work the next day. Fuck that shit, man. Take a day, go drive away from the city, wherever you're at, and go sit with a tree. Go get in the grass. Go sit in water.
Yeah, we went where our phones didn't work,
That's
and
what-
that makes such a difference.
To be out of
Because
service, you don't have a choice. It's not an option
this is what
to
happens.
put it down. You have to.
You're somewhere, and then if you're not literally engaged in conversation with somebody or looking somebody in the eye or whatever, you pick up your phone. Like, it's just an instinct.
Everybody does.
And so you don't do that there. So all those little 5, 10, 15-minute periods that we do that are used by relaxing. And
That frequency is removed from the campground, from that
you're-
no service area.
Totally.
It's gone.
And so just the river can literally wash away that magnetic smog,
funk.
and just waking up in the morning to nature is the best. And sleeping with you in the tent is super fun.
It was fun, man.
It's fun in our tent.
I love having a teepee with you.
Yeah.
It is a amazing thing to, like, what you're talking about, that if you're not talking to somebody, then you're on your phone. Like, I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, like, after we had been there for about an hour, that wasn't an option. And it was such a relief to me. Like, that feeling of needing to look was gone. And it was like this weight that was off my shoulders. And when we came home last night, I was like, after we took a shower, I went outside to go have a smoke. And I normally would bring my phone. I purposely left it in the house and was like, you know what? I'm not going back in there yet, man. I'm not ready for that shit. Like, I'm just going to leave it here. And it is important to maintain connection with the people in your life that matter. And that was one of the things that struck me about being out there with that group of people, was constant conversation. And not bullshit conversation, like real talk.
Yeah, we really connected with everybody, and it was just the generosity of the people there, and it was like me and Jason were saying, it's like the best part of the festival that you miss. And that's the connection with the people that are there.
Well, we
like
miss it because we're doing interviews.
But we are still doing it.
When those times of the festival when the music's not on and you're back at the campground hanging out, like at that string summit with Jason and Audrey late that one night. I mean, but that's the fun, like hanging out. And that's the part where you really feel like kids.
Yeah.
And then you're coming up with the next plan. Let's go sneak on over there and go do this. And it's
And there was a side thing that happened too. They had this really cool like tension ropes with like hooks and different
like a jungle gym.
Like a jungle gym with monkey bars and stuff like that, and then like a slack line to go over. And I was sitting in the hammock, and the kids just came over and were talking about their schools, and I just felt like I felt so lucky that they wanted to talk to me, that they wanted to even talk to a grown up about like their school or their problems or their outfits or whatever. And it was just so fun to be around kids that were just like willing to share, and it just made me really fall in love with kids again. Like,
that liveliness, that not caring, not knowing what the hell's going on.
And these young kids are amazing. These young, like they were, I think like 8 and 9 and 10 or something. Like, so, not teenagers yet, but they're definitely not babies. And so they're so articulate and talking about things, and their personalities are already developed.
That is like the sweet spot too, between that age of being a little turd and right before they become a turd again in their teens.
These kids,
y'all know what I mean.
They played so nicely with each other, and they were so respectful, and they were very careful, and it was amazing.
So, man, this, like I said, this whole thing is born out of the jam community and the musical family that we are all a part of. And if you're feeling the pressure right now, if you're feeling that strain, just remember, we are getting through this. You're here today. You're listening to the podcast right now. Like, we have made it this far. And we're going to make it the rest of the way. And there will be music again. And there will be festivals again. And we all will be hanging out again. And things won't be weird anymore. It's coming. It really is coming, you guys. I promise it's coming. So just hang on, hang in there. Get yourself out there. get away from things. Take a minute for yourself. Take care of yourselves, man. It's important. I wasn't doing it, and now I'm back, and I feel better. And like I told you last week, there's a new fire and commitment for the show. And so, the pieces are falling back into place, and it feels really good. And I'm excited for you guys to hear Alex Jordan this week. So,
yeah, this is a good album too. Go put this on from the first track. Your Kingdom Comes with a View.
Yeah, it does.
It's poignant. This is a good album, full of emotion, great writing, great musicianship. I think you all really enjoy this, and you probably know him, like we said, from Midnight North. But this is something different. This is him.
Yeah.
Doing his thing.
Hard on his
really
sleeve.
Awesome.
So, but before we get there, we're gonna do the business. Yep. So follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Simple Road. Go to www.nosimpleroad.com and check this out. If you click on the gear tab at the top, there's like past episodes, new episodes, the family, and then one of them says gear. That's where the No Simple Road merch is. And there's some new merch up there. There are coffee cups and women's Racerback t-shirts.
Cute.
Kids hoodies. And we did it. We joined the club. We joined the We Made Face Masks Club. And there are No Simple Road Hair of the Wolf van logo face gaiters up there. And if you don't want to wear them as a mask, you can wear them as a bracelet, or you can tie them around your head to hold your hair back. They're super cool. They are up there too. So you can go to nosimpleroad.com, click on the gear tab, and get yourself some of that loveliness. What's up, Apple? What are you looking at?
Hi. Oh, I was just checking the things while we did get another review.
Oh, cool.
I also wanted to read a letter that we got too. So
Okay.
We got a letter.
Yeah.
We got a letter
We
and
just
a
got a
review.
letter.
We got some things.
wonder who it's from.
It's the letter P. Thank you.
All right. No, before you start, this is from Apple Podcasts. If you listen to the show and you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please go and leave us 5 stars.
Please.
Please.
We're asking nice.
Yeah, we
pretty
love those
please.
5 stars, but we really love those 5 stars with a little something to go
Little
with.
juice behind
Little
it.
sugar.
Yeah. So this is one came in on Tuesday from Canis Funk.
Okay.
I don't
Anything
know. I
with
hope I got it
funk, I
right.
love.
What a long, strange trip it's been. Get on the bus! Exclamation. This podcast is a great way to dive into the improv jam scene. I'm a huge Billy Strings fan, and I can't believe y'all read my last review in the podcast with his interview. What a long, strange trip it's been. Love your honesty and can't wait to hear what's next.
Aw.
Thanks, man.
Canis
Right
Funk.
on.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that. See, I could be saying your name right now and saying we appreciate that if you had written a review, but you didn't, and you should do it now. But anyway, yeah, that's Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. You can also go to r/No Simple Road and interact with the No Simple Road family there. There's also the No Simple Road family group on Facebook, and Mel's going to read us a letter right now.
We got sunshine in the mail.
Yeah, we did.
We got a cute little envelope with a puffy one with the little things that you can pop on the inside. Stickers that says "Life is Gouda." There's a cute Bolt Grateful Dead sticker, and then there's one that says, or not sticker, but a magnet, a fridge magnet. Yeah. And then Apple got one with cute little lips on it of an apple.
This came from Parker Lavender.
I know.
Okay.
And
Which I love that.
And then there's one that's Spread the Love with a sweet little heart. And then she wrote this sweet little adorable message to us. Dear
He. It's a he.
Parker? Why did I assume?
It's a dude.
Well, you know why? Because my daughter, not my daughter, but Sarah's daughter, Parker.
His name Parker. That's cool.
But anyway,
He ain't mad.
You're not mad. You sent all this love, and you sent this. Dear Aaron, Mel, and Apple, your podcast is truly amazing, and the people that you interview and the conversations had are fantastic. It's nice having a place where like-minded people can chat and share different views and tell some kick-ass stories. As I mentioned in my OG email, I was turned on to your podcast by my best friend's life companion, Abigail. Adam and Abigail are 2 truly genuine and wholehearted people that are a treasure to know and be friends with. That is such a nice thought to have somebody who thinks about you that way. When I started listening, I realized you all give off the same sort of vibe that I feel when I am with them. And I think I figured out that it's just pure love and wholeheartedness. It makes my heart happy to know that there are genuine and beautiful souls in our world. I feel as if I could go on, but my penmanship will only continue to go south. I hope you all enjoy my gifts I sent. Just remember to keep on trucking and smile, smile, smile. Your friend, Parker. And I wore my smile, smile, smile mask today at work.
Aw.
AKA Cuteney. And that was just me. But thank you so much, Parker, for the sunshine in the mail, for your sweet little gifts and your thoughtful words and the synchronicities of you writing in and just all of that kind of stuff.
The universe is really amazing, the way that it like moves chess pieces. It's such opportune moments. It slides things into place and like picks stuff up and puts it down in your path exactly when you need it. And if you have your eye open, you see it moving and giving you encouragement and telling you to shut the fuck up and making you do stuff and offering suggestions very gently and sometimes not so gently. Yeah. It really is incredible to see it's interactive, the inner workings of the matrix when you're paying attention to it. So that was part of it. So thanks, Parker. We appreciate the love, man. And so we're going to spread some more love in the form of a conversation with our brother in arms, Alex Jordan. So
it's time to, like we've been talking about in this episode, it's time to stop, pay attention, slow down, put that phone down, put that other thing down.
Yeah, quit looking at that thing. Close your eyes, man. Stop it.
Yeah.
There's instructions with this podcast. No, just kidding. You know what? Just relax. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as we did doing it. And so, without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Alex Jordan.
You think Dennis was a menace?
I bet he had antics.
I think to be in that whole Grateful Dead,
you got to be a prankster.
You got to be a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not prankster.
Colorful
shenanigan
maker.
All
right, let's call a shenanigan maker. Hang on, here we go.
We don't know if Alex is a shenanigan maker.
He could. It's true.
He doesn't have to be.
Might find out afterwards.
He could be the one that keeps it all tight.
Yep. Hey guys, everybody, sit down and be quiet. We're gonna play music now. I'm doubting that though.
Hello,
Alex. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm okay. How about you?
I'm good. This is Aaron.
Hey, Aaron. nice to chat.
Yeah, we finally connected, man. I'm glad.
Yeah.
And I got two more with me here.
Hey, Alex. This is Mel.
Hi, Mel. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for joining us this Saturday evening.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
And then you got the third one here. This is Apple, and thank you very much for giving us some of your time on Saturday. We finally made this happen after a couple of misdirections.
Hey, life happens. Things happen. Right now, everything's up in the air. I'm just happy to to be here at all.
Yeah, man. I know what you mean. You know, it's weird. Like being in quarantine, like being home. I have this like weird sense of security at home, at like my own energetic bubble. And like Mel and I went out today to the other side of Portland and went for a hike. And driving through the city, you can feel the energy difference. Like you can feel the, I don't know, what's the like angst, anxiousness and weirdness that's in the air everywhere. It's like tangible weird. And then you come back home and it's like, oh, well, everything's fine in the house.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Totally. I think the first few times that I ventured out, besides going to the grocery store, I remember I went to, I have a day job, and I went to I hadn't been working, I hadn't been going in, and then I went in to do something, and we were still really uncertain of how everything was going to work, and so it was just me by myself.
Right.
And it felt like I had crossed into enemy lines, and I was in some kind of, danger area. And it was me and behind locked doors in a place that I spent a lot of time, and it still felt odd.
Wow. Yeah. Same here, man. It's a odd thing that's going on out there. But one thing that's really, really cool about it is getting to have conversations like this with folks like you. And, it's made very busy people available to us.
It has that. And I have to say that I have memories of my bandmates when I was in Midnight North doing interviews while we were in the van.
Yeah.
And, you've got 6 people around you and you're between towns. And I have to say that I hope that the quality of what I'm able to give in an interview is superior, is much better than that. Because here I am at home, sitting on my couch.
Yeah. So,
but it can't get better than that, because think about that. You're on your couch. What more of a relaxed place can you possibly be to bring up, like...
I could lay down. We could do it like a therapy session.
Yeah, totally.
About the
Or
album.
you could be in bed.
Right.
in your pajamas.
I have had. There was someone I talked to back east a few weeks ago, and I, as being a musician, I don't always have the best sense of scheduling, and here the phone rings at 9:30, and it was a Sunday, and I was in bed, and I pick it up, hello. That kind of thing. Like, it's just so unfortunately it wasn't live, but it could well have been, me laying in bed, waking up.
It's a funny thing when you're scheduling something out like that, and you're like, 9:00 at night on Sunday, I'm not going to be doing anything. That's fine. And then that Sunday rolls around, and you're like,
oh man, I was sleeping in.
Right.
Oh no. No. Where are you at, Alex? Are you in the Bay Area or down in LA?
I am in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I am just south of San Francisco here, up in I guess you would call this the Santa Cruz Mountains, but not nearly as far south as Santa Cruz. I'm relatively near Half Moon Bay, but at 2,000 feet up in the Redwoods.
Oh wow! Man. Okay, you're in a beautiful spot.
Yeah, I moved here on March 1st. I went to Hawaii on the 7th, and when I came back, the world shut down, and this has proven to be a great decision.
Wow, that's like the universe putting you right where you're supposed to be, man. That's cool.
Oh, it was the best too, because my girlfriend and I had been looking for a place, and we got in a big. It wasn't quite an argument, but a disagreement. I had found actually a pretty nice place, but in a more suburban area, and she just really did not want to commit to it. And so we got off the phone all huffy, and not 5 minutes later found a listing for this place, and we got it. So.
Oh, wow.
So I guess I should always listen to her, but nonetheless.
I've been married to Melanie for 20, going on 23 years, man. That's a life lesson that I've learned too. Just shut up and listen.
Yeah.
So most of the
99%
of the time, shut up and listen, man.
You haven't learned that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
Alex, don't let him fool you. He hasn't learned it.
Well, okay, how about this? Learning it versus internalizing it.
Thank you. Yeah, totally. So, Alex, man, we were just out on our porch listening to the new album. It is amazing, brother.
And it's rad that your kingdom comes with a view. I mean, how'd you figure that out?
Right.
Are you talking about this redwood retreat that you're in?
God, right. I don't know where I was at. Well, I do know what I was thinking while I was working on it, what I was trying to capture, but I don't know. You know what? Right. I just moved back from Los Angeles, and so my view while I was living down there was of the balcony across the courtyard.
Okay.
You know, and that was one of the better views I had while I was living down there.
The garbage can.
Right. Like, oh, you look, you can't even see the freeway from this angle.
Yeah, right.
You know. And I had a few different places I lived down there, but that was where I was living, and I went that to back with my parents. So then, I did that for a little bit before, just to get on my feet, because moving's is expensive in California.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, my view went from, that, but I had roommates, and then my two roommates became my parents, which, is kind of neat to just check in with them. But then after a little while, you're like, well, there's a reason to move out.
Time to go.
And it's not any insult to them so much.
No.
Hey, Alex, we have an 18-year-old who's soon to be 18, and I mean, we're not excited about him leaving, but we're excited when he's ready. Yeah.
Right,
and so I think it works for both ways. Like the son, the kid, whoever, they want to go out and do their thing. But like you said, it's expensive. Our daughter, she has been in LA since she was 18 and has moved every single year, and she's 25. So we totally understand that whole, supporting your kids. And when you can finally do it on your own with your girl or on your own, heck yeah, it's a great feat.
You know what's weird though? Like in talking to you and hearing you say the stuff you're saying, like, I guess from a fan perspective, like a deadhead fan of the music and everything, I guess we have this weird preconception that if you're playing the music and you're as successful as you are, that it's just a foregone conclusion that you're financially successful and that, I don't know, man. I guess there's in my mind, a perception of that.
Well, I think that's a really human thing. And in some ways and something kind of tying it back into that opening tune, in some ways that's what that's about, is that we're human, right? Everybody's human. And, you meet people, especially in the music world, who have been wildly successful, but most of the major success stories are past tense. And, being a musician now without being a musician 6 months ago, you lack not the crutch, but you lack the income stream of, recorded music being sold, hard copy recorded music being sold in stores around the country as part of what you're doing. That has just about dried up, and so you have streams, and streams are effectively just a way to get people interested in at least when you're more in the jam world, it's a way to get people more interested in coming to see you play.
Right.
And so now, currently, just remove that, and I don't mind having a day job, but it's entirely necessary in the current climate of being a musician, and it's been necessary. And I was talking to someone recently about music festivals, and even on a festival in which you are paid well, if you're not one of the top 5 acts on a festival that has 30 or so acts, you're not getting the lion's share. And so you're coming at it in the middle of a larger tour, and you're doing a bunch of different things to get by, and none of those dates are easy overhead.
Right.
And it's just a whole different scheme. And I think that almost every musician I have met that is younger, unless they're reaching some sort of very notable commercial success, is a similar thing where everyone just kind of does what they do to get by. People, I'll talk to people I know that have been at it for 20, 30 years who rent, a 500 square foot studio.
Wow.
And that's all they can afford, because that's the thing. So next time, you're out and you hear someone complaining about, man, they really want to charge $15 to see this band. It's like, well, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I've never minded that.
I was just gonna back up for a second, because we have a tendency to do this where we get into the interview and we know who you are, Alex. But if you want to introduce yourself, most of our listeners are going to know who you are too, but there's some that may not. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Thanks,
sure.
Apple.
Okay. Let's do that.
You have 15 minutes in. Oh, by the way, this is Alex.
Right. Who are right? Well, I'm Alex Jordan. I'm at the moment I'm very much a solo musician. I'm a musician. I've just put out my first record, The Subtle Exhibitionist, and I'm anxious to get it in people's hands and get their take on it. And I've been at this a number of years, and I just finished up a 5+ year stint with a band called Midnight North, in which I was a guitar player and turned into the keyboard player in that band. And all the while I was kind of writing my own tunes. We didn't really do much of my material in that band. And in the fall of 2017, I took it upon myself to try to organize things enough to make a record, and I started making one. Wow. Did a lot of the heavy lifting on my own, and the result of the writing and the recording and recording between tours is this record, is The Subtle Exhibitionist. So I'm very proud of it, and I'm very happy to share it and talk about it.
You should be, man.
First of all, great title to the record.
I love that.
The title is amazing, and I just looking at you have you have a lot of instruments tucked under your belt of things you do. The only thing I saw you don't play or read is the drums. But you
I
kind
suck
of
at drums.
okay, but you kind of do everything
But
else.
you still try.
Right. Well, I think that if I had a drum kit, and 6 months, I could figure it out enough to cut my own demos. But I don't have a drum kit, and I don't have 6 months. And I actually, living with a drummer is quite the commitment. And
I bet.
And I think my other half has committed quite a lot in living with me as it is. So I'm not going to push it with a drum kit.
Our son-in-law is a drummer, man. I know all about it. So, you don't have to explain. You play virtually every instrument on this album, man. That's insane. That, to me, like, I fiddle around with the guitar a little bit, and it's this endless mystery of twists and turns that I can never find purchase with. And I can't imagine doing that with multiple things and then being proficient enough to put it all together to make something as beautiful as the album that you made, man. So it's awesome.
Well, it was a natural and slow progression to get to that point with everything. And I don't know, I think there's definitely a gene where like some people can learn languages very easily, right?
Right.
And I am not one of those people, but I have. It does something about learning instruments has made sense to me, and I don't necessarily profess to be virtuosic on any of them. But the process of actually learning how to make music on a new instrument for some reason clicked at some point when I was younger, and some feel more at home than others. Guitar, I don't really think about what I'm doing specifically. I just sort of, it's very similar to how you talk. You don't think of the individual words, let alone the individual sounds. You think of broad concepts, and every so often you do fish for a specific word, but mostly you just want to convey a whole idea, and you just in the course of talking come up with the idea and say it. And guitar has become very much that, and that's fluidity, right?
Right.
And that's probably one of the only instruments that I really, really feel that way on. Voice and keyboard being a close second, but keyboard is still pretty new for me as a serious instrument. I've only been playing it seriously for about I guess 5.5 years, 5-ish years, which is not a lot of time compared to my peers who play keyboard.
How did that transition come in Midnight North?
Yeah, kicking and screaming.
I don't want to. No, sir.
Well, I was a guitar player, and I had some experience playing keyboard. I majored in music, and so class piano was a part of that. And so I knew my way around the keyboard. I knew my scales because I had to know them to graduate.
Okay.
And actually, now that I think of it, I have memories of being in class piano, and we all had headphones, right? Because you can't have 20 people in a classroom all playing simultaneously on pianos. So we had digital pianos with headphones. And I have memories of the instructor trying to explain something about, Debussy, and I'm just have my headphones on. I'm just improvising away. So maybe that's where it really started. Because from an early age, I remember screwing around on piano because we had one in the house.
Right.
My dad was a music teacher, so we'd had kind of anything, which is that sort of has been what has facilitated the ability to try different instruments. Because effectively, he didn't force anything on me, but if I said I want to try this, one would just appear.
Wow, that's cool.
And so
that's awesome.
Totally, and that's an advantage not everybody has, and that's partially why I think I've got all these different instruments under my belt. But back to the keyboard thing. So I joined Midnight North. They needed another lead instrument. It really didn't matter which, but they mostly needed a third singer, a harmony singer. And so I got the gig and became a member of the band. It wasn't just a sideman thing. And I was the third guitar player effectively. And Elliot Peck played a little bit of piano and acoustic guitar at the time. So we had two electric guitar players and one person going between piano and acoustic.
Okay.
Well, it did not take long before there was some rehearsal where someone was late and we were waiting for them to show up. I think probably Graham was late because he had the furthest to drive at that time. Mm-hmm. And I just started goofing around on the digital Nord with the organ patch.
Oh,
and immediately the bass player, Connor, decided that I was going to be a keyboard player in the band. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing. There's no way I'm going to get in front of an audience who is paid to see us. And
you're busted. You've been found out.
Right. And so I think it was, maybe started at 10 and then 20% of the set, and that year, probably by the end of that year, 20% to 30% of the set, on keyboard and the rest on guitar. And the next year, closer to 50-50, and then closer to 30-70. And then by, I think the first gigs of 2018, we had some guest guitar players. And so it was dictated to me that I was going to play only keyboard for that weekend. And I was not, I at no point was I thrilled about, only playing keyboard, but at the same time, it allowed me to really explore the Hammond organ. And that, as much as I love the guitar and as much as I feel fluid on it, and that feels like the natural extension of my own musical self, I have a real love for the Hammond, the sound of the thing, the look of it, the smell of it, the mechanics of it. I've really gotten into repairing it. And so that's what kept me on keyboard. And then for 2 years, I got to not play an actual Hammond, but to dig into that style of playing every night, in addition to playing piano.
That instrument is a magical universe all by itself, man. That and the thing that I've noticed from listening to bands like Amendola versus Blades or John Medeski, Soleiman, stuff like that, is that Hammond can carry the melody the same, not with the same voice, but with the same kind of deal as an electric or acoustic guitar. It fills in a lot of space.
Right. Well, and piano can never be quite as powerful as an overdriven electric guitar can, or just even because it's, even if it's digital, it's not the same type of energy. And so, piano, you can get to the point where you're pounding the keys to sort of indicate that this is the most I've given everything I have, Right. And I'm just, and you're playing open fifths and fourths and just, da 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 kind of a thing, and just getting that rockabilly thing going on any rock and roll kind of thing, and just doing everything you can to make it sound as big as possible. Okay. And then, if in my case, turn 90 degrees to the right and get on the Hammond, and it's immediately louder at a reasonable level. You're not working completely as hard as possible, and it's immediately more powerful. And you can get to that searing, distorted, energetic thing in the upper register that really, a Hammond can stomp on a guitar if it wants to, if you have enough power with your Leslies.
Yeah. And there's something to be said too for energy wise, the vibration of strings as opposed to what the Hammond is doing, the way that it's putting the energy out into the room, that whole thing. Like I said, to me, that instrument captured my imagination in a completely different way than, growing up, I was really into Hendrix and, Jerry and all that. And the electric guitar was magical and wonderful. But the Hammond woke some part of my scratched a weird itch in the middle of my brain that nothing else kind of touches that spot. I think that's really what that niche is for that instrument. It does something special.
It truly does, and it's it was designed at a time when the way something looked mattered as much as the way it sounded.
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah,
and and the look of the thing is just enchanting.
Yeah,
and it's a powerful presence on stage because it's this big, massive piece of furniture.
Yeah,
it is.
It's what is that? Yeah. Well, and if you hear that, you feel like that church vibe. You don't always feel that church vibe totally. If you listen to a guitar. It brings something with it.
Soul.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really does, and it's so cool to play and to not that you would ever willingly do this, but in a band, an ensemble setting, if the band is sort of climbing in dynamic, and and you're on Hammond and you're climbing with it, if you were to suddenly just lay out the floor just drops out of the ensemble. And so it's a really crucial part when it's part of the ensemble. It's a really crucial part of the dynamics.
Right.
And it was really fascinating to learn that, because piano is too when you've got the sustain down, but you can really get in the way with the piano, and if you're in the wrong register and you've got too much sustain going. Whereas organ, you can almost craft it into a string section.
Yeah. Yes.
And so it has all of the that's what an organ's supposed to be. It's supposed to imitate, be able to capture the different sounds of different instruments and everything. And I've been fascinated with I was fascinated with pipe organs when I was in college, because I was majoring in classical singing, and so there are several opportunities we had to sing with and around real pipe organs.
Oh wow!
And they're just fascinating, because those things you're talking about room-sized or cathedral-sized instruments. Yeah. And if you think about, the Hammond was designed to in some way emulate, but moreover not replace, but be an alternative to that thing. And it was originally marketed to churches that couldn't afford a pipe organ. If in the late 30s a pipe organ was $20,000, a Hammond was only $2,000, which was still expensive, but it was a tenth the cost. And don't quote me on those numbers, but
yeah, I want exact numbers.
That was the
Alex.
idea. Yeah, right.
There's
somewhere I have a whole text and stuff. I've gotten to I have for a while I was doing like field Hammond repair work. We used to show up at venues that had a backline Hammond, and I would assess it. It's like, okay, what's wrong with it? And then pull out the soldering iron. I was the nerd.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool to know it that well, though, to be able to go in and fix it.
Yeah, we've got. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you first.
Well, I was just saying, I was enchanted by the thing, and with the guitar, I don't feel comfortable with the instrument unless I know how to repair the bulk of what can go wrong with it. I'm not going to get into luthiery. If I snap the headstock, I take it to a guy that knows woodwork. But,
right.
But as far as basic electronic stuff and setup things, I pride myself on knowing that with the guitar. And the organ's the same deal. I just felt like if I was going to play a vintage thing that was electromechanical, I needed to know how to make peace with it.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, you're screwed otherwise. And I'm sure there's not like a ton of people out there that's their bag. What I was going to say is we have a venue here in Portland called the Old Church, and they have the oldest pipe organ west of the Mississippi in that venue, and
that's awesome.
I think Holly has played it.
Yeah, Holly
Bowling. Yeah.
And then who was Garcia birthday band up here? We went, and that was funny. He gets to the keyboard player got to get on it, and the first thing he started doing is playing like Mario Brothers and he was doing the Star Wars theme. I was like, I just couldn't help myself, man. At first, I just had to have a little fun.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There was a time in college that someone brought the head of the keyboards at the school brought to one of my beginning classes a really old harpsichord, and everyone who plays keyboard is sitting there and playing Bach and trying to play the Goldberg variations and stuff like that on this 200-year-old harpsichord, and I sit down and I play the Coda de Layla.
China doll.
They just about threw me out.
That's awesome. You brought up something earlier that I want to go back to. We just glossed over it, but you're talking about learning instruments and how it's just a thing that you have a knack for, and that your dad was a music teacher. Mm-hmm. And do you think that is a DNA thing for real? Like, do you think that is something that's like you were in a musical family, so it is literally like in your blood?
Or exposure?
Right. I think like nature versus nurture, that kind of thing. I think there's mounting evidence that there is an element of genetics to it. There's certainly the aspect of you're around it and therefore you can do it.
Right.
I met Mickey Hart's son a number of years ago, Taro, and he can sit down at the drum kit. He wouldn't call himself a drummer, but he can sit down at the drum kit and play the original studio beat to Fire on the Mountain without thinking about it. And, is he a drummer? I don't know, but his dad is. And so he was around it and probably learned how to do it.
Okay.
But there was so much in my household. It wasn't expected that I was going to play music. It wasn't assumed. I think it was I started doing it, and then it was encouraged. But I think if I had gotten I was. I mean, I was in Little League, and I was not great. Not even good for that matter, but I was in it, and I wasn't told no. I was encouraged to keep doing it because I liked it. But of course, you start to find things you're good at, and your parents want to encourage you to do things that you're good at.
Right.
So I remember that my parents, when I was about 5 years old, put me in like a class piano thing, and I hated it. And not only did I hate it, but I sucked. And I remember doing a recital at the library, and I was playing the Ode to Joy, and I don't think I could do it.
I can't do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was just terrible, and so I think I said no, I'm done with that. So they never pushed it on me, but as I said, it was available. It was so As for whether I was drawn to it because of my dad, I think it's got to be genetic in many ways, because my nephew is just turned 4, and he can play. He has a great sense of rhythm, and he can sing perfectly in tune. And I give him a ukulele for his birthday, and my dad just shows him how to play a C chord on the ukulele, and off he goes.
Oh wow!
And it's just he's 4. He's not he's not thinking about whether or not he wants to. He just can.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what?
So it's got to be somewhat nature versus exclusively nurture, I guess.
So what is it for you, man, that like makes you want to continue doing that as an adolescent into a young adult? That like, what was the thing that pushed you? Like, okay, I'm deciding that this is my thing, that I want to keep going with this.
Well, so I was in band, in choir and stuff like that. In elementary school through middle school, I was in band. But I think it was in middle school I got into musical theater because I liked singing, and I had good enough pitch that you could, that someone at that age, anyone that can sing in tune and has a half decent sounding voice, they'll throw in front of an audience.
You're up.
So
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so I felt like I was good at that. But I think it was in middle school, in 6th grade. I was in an elective class, like you did, like 6 weeks of everything, a kind of elective rotation, and the drama. I really liked the drama unit because that particular teacher, Mrs. Muzane, was her class centered around improv, and I loved it. And when I realized that you could play music that involved improv, and at that age, it was being in the 7th grade jazz band, which was not nothing outrageous, but it was still no. But there were opportunities to improvise,
right?
And I right around then I started listening to swing music and listening to jazz, and I had been hearing that on the radio growing up too. And so I think really that was it, being in the class and putting myself in a mental place where I had to make stuff up on purpose, with intention, with a story in mind and an arc in mind, and then developing that skill for the next couple of years in the theater thing. And actually I ended up forming and maintaining and teaching even an improv club in high school.
Oh, that's so cool.
But all the while being in jazz band. And, so, jazz trombone. I would do that. That was, I settled there for a while on brass. After doing a bunch of different brass instruments, that was what I've settled in, because that made sense to me. And I liked the sound, I liked the register, and I liked improvising on it. But that's what I liked about it. That's what I connected with, was making things up. I think, even playing harmonica when I was like really little, I remember making little songs up. And,
so cool.
That's I think that's what did it.
So well
It's the
suited.
ability to express.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
This is the part of the episode we are calling Set Break. It's Set Break now, everybody.
This is a fun time where you look around and see what's going on.
It's going to get weird.
Smile awkwardly at one another.
Yeah, you can start up a conversation with the person next to you. This is Set
You don't
Break.
quite know what to do
Even
with
if
your
the person
hands.
that's next to you is you.
Yeah, talk
That's
to
true.
yourself for a minute. Stretch.
Yeah.
Get yourself a glass of water and check out these ads. I know it's the middle of the episode. I know it's weird. You know what? It's okay because we're here for you. And so is Shop Tour Bus. Go to shoptourbus.com online or at Shop Tour Bus on Instagram so that when shows start back up, you don't have to roll in there wearing that ratty old shirt from 17 tours ago. You can roll in there wearing your fresh Shop Tour Bus gear with the Ruben and Charisse design on the front, or
Just
a
dope.
Steal Your Tape, or a Fire on the Mountain. And when you order that, it's going to come to your house in a hand-designed box with a Grateful Dead lyric on the inside of the box, a bootleg, a real cassette bootleg, and other little odds and ends
Doodads,
and
trinkets,
things and whatnots.
candies,
And
stickers.
you may or may not get any of those things that Aaron mentioned.
You may
You
not.
may get a couple of those things.
You might get something you never even expected.
That's
you
right.
might get more than
Something
you
we
bargained
never
for.
knew of.
You're definitely going to get more than you bargained for.
I know one way you can.
How?
Put in the promo code No Simple Road.
For what?
When you check
Free
out, you will get free shipping.
Apple's on that free
I know,
shipping.
man. But bam.
Free
Dang.
shipping.
Yeah, you put
Boom.
in no mo.
No mo.
No,
No
put in
mo.
no.
No mo.
No, you put in the. Gosh, it's a good thing I've stayed out of the commercials for the most part today.
Come on, Dave.
When you put in the promo code No Simple Road at checkout, you will get free shipping.
Free shipping.
Free shipping.
So go to shoptourbus.com online or at shoptourbus on Instagram. Hook yourself up with a hoodie or a t-shirt or a tote bag or some kids' clothes, stickers. They got you covered literally and figuratively.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Hey,
One
Have you
more.
ever listened to Fish?
out of a fish.
that you got from Electric Fish Lights?
Shit.
So by now, if you listen to No Simple Road, you'll know that one of our sponsors is the amazing, stupendous, wonderful, and grand Electric Fish Lights.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is IQ technology. This is little pieces of plastic that I think there's 15 different shapes that can be put into like 30 different combinations, or it's the other way around. I don't have the copy in front of me. And when you put these shapes together, it's endless. They can make a light basically into anything you want. A rain
Sonic the
cloud.
Hedgehog.
They're constantly new drops all the time.
Yeah.
all the sports teams.
A jellyfish, your favorite college team, your
All of
NFL
them.
teams, you got it, you name it, it's there. Hit them up. Go to electricfishlights.com or at electricfishlights on Instagram and check out what we're talking about. And all the lights are made from upcycled vinyl like milk jug plastic. They come with a 12-foot cord, a 12-year energy efficient, safe to leave on LED light bulb, and a hardware kit to hang the lights. So they will leave you hanging. Ah, get it? Get it?
Yeah,
These are
get it.
good
Get
for
it.
inside. They're easy up at the next festival, any room in your house, your fan cave, a nightlight for your kids, trippy color changing light, white elegant light, or colorful lights in your house. It's pretty awesome. They can be used
got it
outdoors.
covered.
And they make custom designs for people that give us ideas for their lights. So check out the Instagram or the website, which is at electricfishlights.com.
They got tapestries now, too.
Yeah, and their tapestries are
They
amazing.
are fucking amazing. And they're hooking up the No Simple Road family. Put in the promo code NSR in checkout and receive 10% off. And any NSR family that orders a light with the color changing upgrade will receive a limited edition special promotion, No Simple Road print manifested out of the ether of life. That is No Simple Road. It's pretty amazing. You know
That
what?
is amazing.
Go check it out, you guys. This is something special. And if you want to listen to Fish out of a fish that you got from Electric Fish Lights, you can also order a light bulb that has a speaker in it. So go check it out. electricfishlights.com. Enlighten yourself.
Trombone's a great instrument. When I played in band 6th and 7th grade. I picked up the trombone because I had the influence from my mom and dad was a lot of swing music, like hearing Tommy Dorsey and stuff like that, and hearing trombone. with like the mute and stuff. It was like, wow, that's with the slide. It's like, that's a fun instrument.
Oh, it's expressive. It's super expressive. And actually, my grandpa had a huge, greatest hits of swing kind of collection thing. And so my trombone that's sitting here in my corner of my bedroom is a Tommy Dorsey model.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a King 2B Liberty with a Schilke 42B mouthpiece. And if anyone's listening that knows a thing about brass, that's a Dorsey setup.
Wow.
Okay. So I mean, you perfectly suited for the world that we're all part of now. The whole jam.
It made sense. And my dad was a deadhead, and so it was there, but he never forced it on me. It never was like, you got to listen to this. And so I think what had happened to me was in middle school, over the course of probably 7th and 8th grade, I was listening to CDs, and I was going through his massive CD collection alphabetically. And really, I mean, every Beatles album, including the anthology stuff and like that, before that, Allman Brothers, and Dave Matthews, Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, all the, think about everything in the alphabetical.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and then I remember I got to the G's and listened to American Beauty, and I had heard some of those songs on the radio. There's a station down here in the Bay Area called KFOG.
Mm-hmm. I know KFOG.
So many people know KFOG. I mean, because they were awesome. I mean,
totally awesome. Yeah.
Just like, in many ways equal to the standard, if not setting the standard of what you want that type of station to be like. And sadly, that's not them anymore, but they were the greatest, and they would play that music. You'd hear that on the radio sometimes. And, I remember, so I've heard American Beauty and oh yeah, I know some of these songs, yeah. Okay. Truckin', right. Sure. I've heard that one before. And then it was actually specifically when I got to the release 100-Year Hall, that when I realized that on the second disc, which is the second set, there's a 30+ minute version of the other one. Okay. after a 15 or so minute of truckin'. All of a sudden I went, well, this is everything I'm interested in, because it was exciting. It was rock and roll. It was exciting. I was just learning the bass guitar.
Okay.
But not really in a rock and roll way yet. I think I just wanted to learn, maybe I was looking at, Eagles songs or something simple. I don't know, but I was coming up playing the ukulele and the bass guitar. And it was just like, this was really cool because it was really exciting. And the bass was a thrill. It was just fascinating to listen to Phil Lesh, especially in that era.
Yeah.
And I started playing bass like that, but then it was pointed out sometime later to me that I played, even though I was playing bass, I had stopped listening to the bass line and was actually listening to Garcia's parts.
You're playing lead bass?
Yeah. Right, effectively, which Phil does too, but in much more root driven. I think I'd be a better bassist now than I was then. But it took quite some time to arrive at the guitar, but not quite so, a long time after I arrived at music like the Grateful Dead, and anything affiliated with it. For a while I explored and just really got into, because improvisation and rock and roll, worked for me.
Right.
And those guys all loved the music that I already loved.
Yeah.
So they listened to that stuff, and reading later on in life, reading about Garcia, listening to swing music and bands and stuff like that just totally made sense to me in so many ways.
So how do you end up playing with Phil's son?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, does your
Wait,
you said your dad? I was going to ask that too. Which you answered. Your dad was a Deadhead, so that influence was there. Was he connected in the community at all, or did you just come home one day and you're like, hey, guess what?
Yeah, not. I mean, not at all. The closest connection we had has someone knew someone who worked in the office.
Right.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, the Dead was always there because we were a Bay Area rock and roll loving family. And so, my sister had, kind of thought Jerry looked like this grandfatherly figure.
Right.
And there's she she really liked the way he looked. I think they went backstage at the Bridge School benefits to try to meet those guys at one point. I forget, but there was a signed photo of Jerry, that my sister had gotten through that friend of a friend who worked in the office, kind of a story.
Okay.
And so there was always just a presence there, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, Grateful Dead. My dad wasn't like, you got to get into the Dead. It wasn't like that at all. But when I was playing the bass and getting into this stuff, and then later, I didn't pick up guitar till I was 17. And when I did, I had to find time for it because I was doing theater and I was leading this improv troupe at school, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was getting ready to apply for school. And so the only thing that had to go, the only thing that was movable was homework. So homework, I started doing my homework at lunchtime and at the breaks and in school. And instead I would come home and pick up the guitar and put on a Grateful Dead video and practice playing along with it.
Oh, okay.
And that was how I learned the bulk of my guitar stuff, because I liked the music and the instrument. That was how I wanted to connect with the instrument, was kind of, improvisationally. So fast forward, I finished college. Right before I finished college, I just turned 21, so I was a junior in college, and I went to school in Long Beach, and here I am driving down the highway, and there's a sign that says Thursday nights, Cubensis, the Grateful Dead music tribute. And I'm going, I wasn't there last week. I got to go check that out, and I couldn't get anyone to go with me, and I was scared to go by myself, whatever. So eventually I worked up the courage and went. I didn't even realize there'd be a cover, so I had to check the seat cushions in my car for quarters.
Yeah.
Right. And so I went in and heard them play, and they were just fantastic. And I chatted the band leader Craig up for a while, and eventually,
such a good guy.
Oh my God, one of my best buds, him and Nate LaPointe still. And and we just sort of, he'll talk to anybody for a half hour, but he was very gracious at this time with me. And that summer, I started bringing little bits of gear that I had or friends of mine had for Craig to try, because we decided we wanted to chase, through several conversations at shows, decided we wanted to chase a little bit of Garcia tone that we hadn't done yet. And so we did that for a while, and then eventually they just kind of took me on as a roadie. So I roadied for them, and then it happened that Nate was out of town, and Steve Harris, who was the drummer, was ill at the time, and so they needed a second singer, or another singer rather, who also played guitar. And so they asked. I had sat in with them once on my birthday and once at a little fundraiser thing, and so Craig asked me if I wanted to sit in. I did it a bunch of times that year, but one of those shows, a band that was soon to be called Midnight North, they were called Graham, Lesh and Friends, opened up for us. And I just happened to be the one playing that night. I was in Europe with Womack, and there it was. We met, and Graham said, "Oh, you got to come up to Terrapin sometime." And I said, "Hey, you be careful, because I'll do it. I'll hold you to it." and we chatted a bunch of times. I sent him some videos of me, doing other things, so he knew that I knew what the heck I was doing. And then I drove up there and played a couple of just sit-ins with the Terrapin All Stars, just a kind of a pickup band.
Right.
And then a few months later, did a little sit in with Midnight North on an acoustic gig. And then a few months after that, did some informal auditioning with them. And then a few months after that, joined the band.
Wow.
That's one of the things about the Grateful Dead community that continues to blow me away. Synchronicities and the way things fall into place in this world. It's really, it's singular to me.
Totally.
It's fascinated me for 30 plus years, man. And when I hear
the
stories,
magic of the current, like, oh
right,
yeah,
sure.
my dad, oh, my teacher, oh, my brother, my mom loved it. Like, and then you start talking about it and you realize that like this web is literally all connected. Your mom knew the teacher and that's who got her into it. And, her daughter met you. Like, it's just like you're right. When you look back at it and you like, after talking about it, you can really see the hand and that musical, I guess that Grateful Dead musical influence that just kind of, I don't know.
Well, then Phil
weaves
found
through
a place
time.
like Terrapin Crossroads that's just an incubator for like so much going on there.
Well, and that Terrapin at that time in particular had the vibe of some of these, LA jazz clubs back in the day, or like some kind of a basement club in the East Village. Just this vibe of just anybody could be there, and everyone was sort of equal on these pickup gigs, because there's a ballroom there. That's the great room, but that's an admission ticket. I mean, you go there and you're paying to see a band.
Yeah.
And whereas the bar shows are all free, and if you've never been there, it's this bar in you enter in, you walk past the front desk, walk past the bathrooms, and then you are in the bar area, and you have to go through that to get to the bulk of the restaurant.
Right.
And that's the first thing you're encountered with. So here's the band. If you walk in the front door and you're not interested in hearing a band in the background, then you really come to the wrong restaurant.
Yeah, you got to walk past the stage in the bar to get to the bar.
Right. Right. It's really completely set up that way at this point, especially, and early on. And so it was just like that. Where at least 2 nights a week or more were these pickup bands, and there were probably 30 or 40 people around, and they would just put together a 4 or 5 piece band for the night, and everyone would sit around together and go through their sheet music and just figure out what songs they knew or could lead, and put together a collection of tunes for the night. It wasn't necessarily a set list, and you just call your tunes, and we kind of homogenized. I mean, we eventually, I think Graham digitized everything he had, and slowly disseminated this list of things from his iPad to people, or you would just be on stage, and we all got iPads, and we all got the same app, and we just sling these charts back and forth, and so we could just do what eventually became a repertoire that became the sound of that club, and it really kind of had its own, especially for a few years there, really had its own sound. Like, this is what bands who play at Terrapin sound like. Right. And it was really interesting. And it was a blend. It was not Grateful Dead music exclusively. In fact, most of it was not. It was, this blend of honky tonk and rock and roll and country western and modern Americana and new Nashville and all these different things like that, as well as a healthy dose of Grateful Dead or indie bands, and it was just really interesting community to be a part of, and that I don't know that has been quite the same as that. You can still go and see an interesting show, but it's more that era has sort of drifted away. Yeah, and I don't know what the world will look like after COVID there, but that era of the pickup bands and trying new things and just these sort of gung-ho attitudes about just trying anything. I don't know if that's going to come back the same way. That may have had its time. I'm not sure. But it was really fascinating.
You know what you say about the sound of the bands that played, the pickup bands that came together in that place during that time. I never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right, man. I remember seeing Phil and Friends in Vegas at the Brooklyn Bowl in like 2014, I think it was. And there's a particular sound to that setup that I hear repeated in the bar. It's a trip, and I never thought about it like that. But you're absolutely right, man. It's thick. That sound is thick and cohesive.
Oh, and I think in many ways, Phil, not intentionally at all, by my guess, set the tone in terms of what we should be listening to based on who was getting asked to do Phil and Friends shows. So all of us were listening to Larry Campbell. Oh. All of us were listening to Lebo from ALO. All of us, listening to and playing with Lebo and Scott Law and Neil Casal and just anyone in that kind of a sphere. We were all listening to those players because Jason Crosby, the keyboard front, because that's who came through. That's who Phil had, and so why wouldn't we listen to them?
Right.
That's where we learned about Anders Osborne when we went down there. We saw Anders on stage with Phil, and we're like, "Who is this dude?"
Yeah, he's a monster.
I've heard the name, but wow. And Ross James,
yeah, and Jackie Green,
Totally.
that whole crew. And it's funny. You have this unique view of it because you were there while it was happening. You guys were all influencing each other, and then also consuming and listening to the same thing. So it's like
everybody's interpretation.
This interpretation of this coming through all of you. It's really cool to hear it like that.
Oh, I mean, it really is true because, I wouldn't have the appreciation for country music I have today if it weren't for playing there. And, there are specific guitars that I've owned and currently own that I got because of hearing, oh yeah, wow, so-and-so had one of those. That sounded good. I'd love to find something like that, and there's definitely a feel there. Yeah. And it makes it's really interesting. It has been a really interesting time. I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know what'll happen.
So, what's going on there right now? Are they playing outside or?
Well, they're completely shut down now. They had a positive case in the staff, so they're trying to keep everybody safe and wait everything out. Yeah. They tried to do a brief reopen, but it's a crapshoot for anybody who reopens because with the whole asymptomatic spread thing, no one knows. There's degrees to which you can be safe and you can do everything right, and it still could, if your sphere gets penetrated, then that's that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a crazy world.
But the format they were doing things was very different. It was a fixed price, and you would go in and get a dinner, and everyone had their own table. It was outdoors only, and there was a duo or a trio on stage. It was not the same thing at all.
Okay, got it.
But that's cool. That you're trying to change it for the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of removed from the community now because there's only so much. Everybody's kind of hunkered down, and so I haven't played there since February.
Wow. Was that your last time playing period in February? Or
what? As a matter of fact, yes.
Wow.
Wow.
I sat in on keyboards with a young hotshot guitar player named Asher Belsky, and he's a teenager and is really killer guitar player. But he was playing his first show there as a band leader, or maybe his second show there as a band leader, and he had sat in at my birthday party rather, back in December, and so he invited me to sit in with him. So it was Valentine's Day weekend, and that's the last time I played any music in front of an audience. Oof. Save for streaming, anyway.
This is going to be kind of a silly question, but fuck it. How are you doing, man? Are you okay? Like, is it tough? Or how are you dealing with that emotionally? Because I know that's a huge vein of emotional outlet, and so it's not there. So what do you do?
Well, the good news is I had this record done, and I was just in the final stages of physically producing the product.
Right.
That's
when
great.
This hit, and
so it gives you a lot of time.
Right. Totally. So this I can talk to people about this art that I worked on for a significant amount of time, and it is something that makes me feel good about. Well, the advantage here is that there's no live music to talk about, so everyone needs to talk about records. So
the album is really amazing in that every song is different. It sounds completely different. It doesn't sound like one.
But
type.
it does have a vibe, though. It has a nice little thread to it that is, that makes it cohesive. However, everything is individual, which is really a great feat in one album.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to. That was really a goal. I mean, I had these songs that were not necessarily written all at the same time. I've had writing sprees since on and off, and those songs all kind of sound similar because I'll write, 4 in a few months and 3 in a few months later, and all kind of listening to the same stuff. And this album was not done that way. It was done much slower and written over longer periods of time because I was mostly touring. And putting it all together, that was a challenge because I wanted it to sound cohesive, but still let every song maintain its individuality. So one of the advantages of me not playing drums was that I could have Sean Nelson play drums on the whole record and use his drum kit. And he just had a couple of different snare drums that we used for different things. He's sort of equally nerdy about drums, or rather much more nerdy about drums, but equally nerdy as I am about tone.
Okay.
And then also, besides having him on everything, having me effectively be my own rhythm and lead guitar player on everything, that was going to give things a homogenized feel. And so, something, the genre will change, but effectively the band is the same.
Right.
And that made that was the goal, is to try to cover the different genres while maintaining the cohesiveness of this sense of a band. And I really did, like on the first song, I really did want it to feel like a bar band starting at Terrapin, like the opening song for the night. And I really wanted the last song to feel like the band closing out its night at Terrapin.
Oh, fun.
That was the intention.
That's super
well,
fun.
Yeah,
so
well, on the last track too.
Give us a whole evening, of fun and beautiful music.
Well, I love the last track.
But that's the same. Well, sorry, I just want to say that's the same thing we were just talking about, though, where we would get up with these different people leading different songs, and they were not going to be the same genre.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was it. It felt like it was going to work, putting all the different tunes together, because it worked on stage. So.
Yeah. It couldn't be any other way. What were you going to say?
I was just when you just said that, you now you say that, it kind of makes sense listening to like the subtle exhibition in the end, the guitar work, the way you it's like laying the crowd down at the end of the show. Like it has that feel to it. Like that's the end of I'm leaving you with this and carry this on. It's a great track to end it. And when you just said that, it makes sense. It was like the whole journey. And then,
if you've ever, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Then I got another question about something else.
I was just thinking, and if you've ever been at Terrapin at the end of the night, since it's a free show, most people are heading home by the end of the night with the bar band. So it's, by the last tune of the night, the bartender is polishing the same spot on the bar for 5 minutes. And so the idea of this extended jam that is sort of gets to the point that it's irreverent of its audience, and of course it's abbreviated in terms of how long a jam would actually go in on stage. But the idea that it gets to the point where it's just out of control, and I wanted the guitar to just sort of linger over and extend it past the rest of the band, and then just end on a big, ugly, whack, and just like, okay, at this point everyone's gone home, so we're playing for ourselves,
Yeah, totally. It's for the one spun head in the corner that's done.
Literally, exactly.
To follow you out to the parking lot and hang out.
Right, right. And the longer I can stay on stage, the less time I'll have to chat with them after.
Yeah, totally. What were you going to say?
Well, then I was just going to ask too. I had not heard it until this morning. I didn't see it on here. I just looked over it. Is that an original? A light that shines for Christmas? I'd never heard that before. Is that your song that you put out?
That's mine. Yeah.
That is beautiful. At first, it's obviously like about trying to get home, like when you're touring or whatever you're doing, trying to make it home for Christmas. It's a beautiful song.
Well, and I have a reverence for quality Christmas music. I'm not going to say all Christmas music, but some of my favorite Christmas songs are all some of the most, everyone. Some of my favorite Christmas songs are some of everyone's favorite Christmas songs, and I love that jazz has over the years become synonymous with it. So that I don't know that I intended to write a Christmas song ever, but I just had an idea one December, and I started working on it, and just wanted to capture that. And then in the process of writing that, my dad ended up in the hospital with a heart infection.
Oh, wow.
And he's totally okay.
Good.
But at the time it was a little bit scary. They didn't know, they couldn't figure out what was causing it. And took a few days before they were sure that he was stable. And And so I went in to record the demo of that song and to tighten up the loose ends. And I couldn't even, he was quarantined because I couldn't even go visit him. And so that song took on a little more weight. And so a year later, I decided to, a year later, I was in the process of making the record, making the Subtle Exhibitionist. And so we used that time. We just picked a day to do all the basics and another day to do the piano.
Wow. That's a heavy thing to write a Christmas song.
Oh yeah, that's not an easy thing. That's why I had to ask that.
Special.
It's like I've never heard that. Very well done. Yeah, Christmas. Most time you hear new Christmas music that comes out, it's like that pop song that one of the somebody did, and it's like, oh, that was cute for this year, and it doesn't stand up, and it this is
ain't like that.
No,
I just wanted to write something that that you could hear James Taylor sing or Mel Torme sing or something like that. That's what I was trying to get.
That makes sense.
Well, it's like those songs come on. Specifically, my favorite Christmas song is the Christmas song, and specifically the Nat King Cole version of it. And when that song comes on, you hear that first little string thing, da 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 da. You're like you settle in. Mm-hmm. You grab your cocoa, you grab your peppermint stick, whatever your trip is,
transported,
and you're there.
Yeah.
And that's and that's what I wanted to hit with that tune. I don't know, and I mean the fun part about it is that you write a Christmas song, you can talk about it every Christmas. You can try to preach it to people every Christmas.
It's timeless. Yeah, it comes around once a year, and you can
dust it off, pull it like, here we go,
hey,
man.
Check this out. You said
it's also hard though. It's like those are real jazz changes. It's me digging back into my past to kind of create that.
Yeah, you can't fake that. A good Christmas song
No, I got to play it for Aaron. I don't think Aaron's heard it yet. Have you listened to it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had just listened to it earlier today.
So, Alex, before we go, I want to ask you something. We had talked a few minutes ago about, the change in climate with selling music and not being able to tour, and the way things are now as far as touring musicians aren't touring. And, we do this show, and this is No Simple Road came out of my son giving me a microphone for Father's Day and saying, Dad, you guys always talk about music and the Grateful Dead. You should start a podcast. So by no means am I like a professional, and I'm just a fan, and I love the music. It's been my life since I went to my first Grateful Dead show. And so what I want to ask you is, from your perspective, in the position that we're in as media, beyond having you on the show, what can we do to help get the music out more, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the game, in terms of getting music disseminated, changed long ago before any of us knew the extent to which it had changed. And I think that the best thing we can do now, and the best thing for any genuine movement, whether it's about art or changing the world, whatever it's going to be, has to be done to an extent in a grassroots way. Mm-hmm. And having a genuine conversation with someone like yourselves is an extremely valuable experience that is now a rarer commodity than it used to be in the daily or the weekly human experience, especially in the United States right now.
Right.
And the combination of these genuine discussions where you can really talk to someone and get to know what they're like, and then the fact that we're in need of art. I mean, we need art right now. We need things that express more than we can say, because you look at the social media climate, and it's devolved into this mess of nonstop news, be it legitimate news or completely contrived stuff from wherever. Mm-hmm. It's got that and a series of people agreeing or disagreeing, about something that isn't necessarily something that you need to agree or have an opinion on.
Yeah, yes. Well put, yes.
Everybody's judging things that are even non-judgy.
It's no longer fun and entertaining.
Right. And I mean, I was, God, it is so frustrating. And we have no business announcing shows right now. We have no business announcing festivals and things. I have many, there are many people that I really respect in the industry. And I hope that everyone makes the right decision with regard to the health of and safety of the musicians and of the fans. Because economics should not drive your decisions about safety. But what we do have, what we do have is this art and this way that we can connect to it. We can have these conversations, and we can spend more time on social media promoting musicians and art and music and literature and real things that can express the things that we are oftentimes find ourselves incapable of accurately expressing. And I think that the real grassroots thing, can make a difference. I didn't set out to write any songs for this record or my next one or the one after that because I wanted to change someone's opinion on a social media thing. I just wrote down something that I was feeling or experiencing or thinking about in a way that I thought someone else could maybe relate to. And if you can't relate to one song, maybe you'll relate to another. And if you can't relate to any of them, then great, find someone else to listen to. It's not important. It's not important to me to win everybody's, affection here, but it is important to me that the human experience be captured and maintained and validated, that we're all experiencing things, especially now, that nobody in our lifetime has gone through. And this is a big deal. And so I think that what you can do if you want to support musicians is buy their music, but buy it. Don't stream it. Buy it from them.
Yeah.
Okay. You can, my website has that available, and I think that's the way you can support them.
Cool, man.
And because I want to see an order come in or see a name and go, man, I am sending this out to this person in this town at this address, and they are going to have this thing to give them 44 minutes of something besides whatever's going on that day.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
I wanted to ask too before we close, because I just really love the title so much. It's so suggestive of a lot of things, and just the subtle exhibitionist. Like, you don't think of an exhibitionist being subtle. And so right there, there's already a little bit of
intrigue.
Yeah. And so where were you coming from, or what does it mean to you, those words together that in that way to reveal your album?
That was something I heard somebody self-describe as, and it struck me in an odd way, because it's this implication of, look at me, but not wanting to be overt about the fact that you want people to look at you.
And look at me out of the corner of your eye.
Right.
Give me a side glance.
A little glimpse.
Or going out and putting on your nicest jeans and your favorite jeans and your favorite shirt, or maybe doing your hair special or shaving that day, but also just not wanting to make any kind of a deal about whether or not you've made yourself, you've tried to make yourself look more appealing or feel more appealing. And especially with social media, that we've become this culture that wants to seem incredibly nonchalant while we're doing these posed things. I was just discussing with someone the other day that they said, "Oh, what about so-and-so? Their streams look really good." And I said, "Okay, but let's look. They're being lit from one side. They've got a mixing board. They've got somebody else clearly handling a camera. It's made to look really nonchalant, like the guy's just in his basement playing music. And meanwhile, it's produced.
Yeah, it's
produced to look nonchalant.
Well, they do that a lot too in the modeling industry, to have like this super clear, baby soft skin, but there is so much foundation and concealer and everything airbrush going on to make it look like you just woke up.
Yes, I just woke up this way.
That's awesome.
I mean, but that's the whole thing. It's just this idea that we have no one wants to make a deal of the fact that we are desperate for everyone else's approval. And I think that that's something that we have to reconcile as a culture. And that's something that within the record, I wanted to, because I'm subject to that too. So I'm not immune from doing that. I've definitely,
No, we're people.
I mean, every time, right, we are, we love validation. And every time I get on stage, while the majority of the reason I'm up there is because I want to be, there's a part of me being up there. It's like, man, I wonder who might dig this. I wonder who might, pay me a compliment at the end of the show. I wonder,
Yeah.
and that isn't your primary driver, but it is there.
No, you'd be lying if you said it wasn't. You're a human being,
right.
man. If you would have attained, you would have disappeared.
Hence the exhibitionist part, right? Like you said, you're putting on those jeans that make your butt look good, and that shirt that you got, and putting your, styling that hair. But it's nice if somebody smiles and notices it, but at the same time, it's kind of for you and not. I love that. It's great.
And I've played with people. that actually work hard to look like they're not trying. And meanwhile, there's no way anyone gets in front of an audience if they don't want to be there.
No shit. No shit. Yep.
Yeah, that's a super rare occurrence when somebody's pushed on stage.
Whoa, there's an audience.
Well, I appreciate what you said, man. It means a lot, because this thing means a lot to me. And to be given the opportunity to have a voice within the community, I see as a rare opportunity and also a responsibility. We did a podcast from Terrapin Crossroads
at the beginning of
2019.
February.
That was
January.
last year? Oh my gosh,
it was 2019, guys.
It was.
February.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, timeline.
Gosh.
And I remember right before we went down, Mel and I were driving down our street, and I was crying. And I was like, holy shit. Like this thing that I've been into all these years, I'm the one that's going to be sitting on the stage there. And that is even happening blew my mind. And it made me see what we do from a different perspective doing that.
Totally.
And so I appreciate what you said, because it really does mean everything to me. And to help you guys to get the word out, to get us through this time, because we have no guidebook right now. We are in uncharted territory, brother. And so any words of wisdom to help us steer the ship in any way is greatly appreciated. So thank you, man.
Thank you.
And we keep saying
it's just nice to talk.
No shit.
Talk to someone outside of your circle.
We're having great conversations come out of this, talking to musicians that are used, like you said back at the beginning, of being in a van, being on the road. You're not even quite sure where you are. You're tired, and you're trying to give an interview. This has been really special, and we'd be remiss not to bring up Dennis McNally, who has become. We met him at Skull. I mean, everybody knows who he is. Through the history of the Dead, but when we met him last year at Skull and Roses, we interviewed him, and he just rolled out the red carpet. He has been a supporter of ours ever since. Him and Aaron chat all the time. I think our paths with yours would have crossed eventually, but this was nice that Dennis made this happen now.
Glad it happened now.
And Dennis obviously is a big supporter of yours.
He is the greatest.
He is. He is him and his wife are the sweetest people.
And I was talking to my folks were asking, what? So how did, it's been a couple months now working together with him. How did you, why did Dennis, take you on? I was like, I don't really know. I don't really know why, I mean, I know who set it up. My buddy Andy, who's a big believer in me and has worked with Dennis. Andy last year, became the new caretaker of Jerry's guitar Alligator.
Oh shit.
And he's done some stuff with Dennis around Grateful Dead instruments and Grateful Dead, the periphery that Andy's involved in. So he's a big believer and got me and Dennis set up. But that doesn't mean that Dennis had to say yes. He doesn't have to be nice to anybody.
No.
But so many people have nothing but great, including myself, nothing but great things to say about the guy. And I'm really appreciative of not just of him for working with me, but also of him for being that, for being
Yes.
for being gracious and professional and by every account. And so it's good to know that exists in the industry.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So before we go, Alex, can you tell everybody where they can buy your album? Because they all need to go buy your album now.
I'd be happy to. My website is alexjordanjams.com.
Ooh.
And I will gladly send you a copy of my vinyl if you want, or a copy of my CD if you want. The CD and the vinyl are both art experiences. It's a full gatefold for both of them, and we just want people to feel good about handling it. So I'll gladly send you one if you go and order one through my website.
Awesome, man.
Excellent.
Right
Alex,
on.
when this is all over, man, we need to have lunch or something and sit down and have a conversation outside of the podcast and give each other a hug, man. I really appreciate your time, man.
Would absolutely love to. That sounds awesome.
Yep. Hang on to my number, man. And I will let you know when this is going to come out. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before it drops, but
Okay.
I'll give you a couple days heads up before it comes out.
Sounds great.
All right, brother.
Alex, thanks
Thanks
so
for
much.
listening. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah,
And have a great night.
Yeah, stay healthy, safe, and thank you so much, Alex.
You too, guys. Take care of yourself.
Later, brother.
Bye.
So you wanna be a hero, wear a crown upon your head, fame and fortune, splendor, and your California king bed. There'll be no need to explain how good it's been for you. Your kingdom comes with a view, and every bar you'll go to will serve your favorite beer. You'll always pick the winner in each election year. You're the paragon of perfect, well, that much we always knew. Your kingdom comes with a view, and I can hardly wait for the fall when this story's through. Tear your picture down from the wall. Your kingdom comes with a view. Faces in the papers and on Time magazine. Your good deeds overflowing. Your reputation is too clean. Well, give us all a minute to find dirty laundry too. Your kingdom comes with a view, and I can hardly wait for the fall when this story's through. Tear your picture down from the wall. Your kingdom comes with a view. A favorite teacher told me that life is seldom fair.
Life is never fair, gentlemen.
Scales in your favor, and I'd say you've had your share. Well, the people like their heroes, and they vilify a few. Your kingdom comes with a view, and oh my, what they say about you now. Tell me, is it true? What's the dirt, the where, and the how? Your kingdom comes with a view, and I can hardly
What a cool guy.
What a sweetheart. He said that's a. I mean, he felt
could-
like
yeah.
heart,
Yeah.
like heart. Now,
And he was raised
hearing
right.
him after hearing the album. This is another one. Hearing the album, I really liked it. Now I like it. I can't wait to listen to it.
I want to go
again
out on the
because
porch and listen
now
to it again.
we felt him.
Yes.
So, you know what? We're going to leave you with, and I'm saying this to myself.
This is Aaron's new Christmas song that he's
No,
debuting in
no.
July.
We're not gonna leave with the Christmas song
no,
in July.
okay.
I'm saying this for myself. When I edit this you're going to play Kingdom with a View, Aaron, and all you guys out there are going to hear it right now. So here we go. Check out Alex and buy his album. You guys support
Alex,
him and take care of each other.
thank you for being
Smile
on the
at
show.
stranger, and we'll see you on the other side. No, you probably already heard Kingdom with a View, so we're going to check
Okay.
out with Children of Indigo. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm upside down. I'm going to go take a nap.
Stop fucking
Love
talking.
you guys. See you later.
Yeah.
Like twisting turns and mission turning, it's a journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hell of me has been the earth. And alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.